What's up guys, it's Bastian here coming at you with my first Harry Potter trading card game video. Today we're going to open the Diagon Alley two-player starter set, have a quick mooch around it, have a look what's inside, and if there's enough interest I can cover some more Harry Potter stuff for you guys as well. We're not just going to open this video, we're also going to talk about the cards and what the two decks are trying to achieve, so please stay tuned to get a good idea of how these two decks actually play against each other. But first, we're going to crack this open and let's see what's inside. Now, this is a Wizards of the Coast product. You got the signature old school Wizards of the Coast logo there. You also have the old ranking system starter, advanced, and expert level. Love these things. And yeah, we should get two foil cards in here as well. This has a handy little pull-off tab, which we're going to be using. There you go. And we're inside. That was easy. Okie dokie. So Diagon Alley, I believe this was the penultimate set for the game. It was 5 sets that were released. That's it. Nothing else inside there. Let's move the box over to the side, right there. And what we got here? So we got a River Troll, and we have a Norbert Dragon. These are the two foil cards that we were promised. Now we also see a rulebook here, and it's all shrink-wrapped, fairly hastily, but also very commonly for the early 2000s, which is when this game is from. I do remember being in, I think it was last year, primary school, early 2002, and getting a booster pack for the base edition, the first edition base set of the game. And that's how far my journey got with that. But my wife and I have been playing with one of the other starters, so that's pretty cool. We got the card list here. This card list is specifically for, oh look, just like Pokemon, it's crazy. This is for Diagon Alley Quidditch Cup. What else we got here? We got the base set. Okay, so this might then be set 3, actually, for those of you who don't know the sets. Quidditch Cup and then Diagon Alley was the third set. So the third set got a new starter set to come with it. This is some market research. We don't see that kind of stuff anymore. You do all that online if you do it. Advanced rulebooks. But what I really like about this game is that the mat, which I'm going to open, but I'm not really sure if we're gonna be able to get the entire thing on camera because it's humongous. It is like A2 size, something like that. I'm opening it here in the background. You guys can't see it. It's just absolutely huge. No, there's no way to open all this on camera. It's massive, but it tells you exactly what you need to do to be able to play the game. So you got lesson, creature, spell card explanation, and it tells you to start here with Hedwig. Before you play, draw 7 cards, decide who goes first. Everybody, and then this is super simple. It's literally just 3 steps. Draw a card, damage your opponent with your creatures, and you get 2 actions to spend. You can either play a lesson card, or a creature card, or a spell card, or you can draw an extra card and do any combination of 2 of these things. So it's really, really easy, nice, simple to pick up, but there's depth to this game. Not a huge amount, but there is depth to it. But it's really simple to pick up, so it's a lot of fun. And that's what we get paperwork-wise. Advanced rules, don't lose that. You might want to use those later on. Which one shall we go for, River Troll or Norbert? Let's go for River Troll. I like Norbert a lot. Cute. Okay, so River Troll, how are we going to open this? Of course, with the trusty scissors. With what else? And we're going to look for a place where we're not going to be damaging the cards, and just a tiny incision, tiny incision, which might not even be enough. It is enough. Okay, we're in here, and we're, oh dear me, I mean, that River Troll, it's sticky. That's not supposed to be sticky, but it is sticky. Wow. How long has this been in this packaging, I wonder? Actually, the foil actually stuck to the plastic. Jeez. Maybe a good thing I bought it. Okay, so this pack is for one of the two players. This is a river troll. It costs 5 to play, so you have to have 5 lessons in play. At least one of them needs to be care of magical creatures. And it is a troll. Nice shiny foiling. It is a troll. To play this card, discard one of your care of magical creatures lessons from play. So very similar to the forest troll. When it comes to play, it deals 4 damage each turn, and it's got a health of 3. So it's quite a good little creature here. Yeah, I'm just not really. It really stuck to the foil. It's just weird that it did that. Okay, we'll put this here. And let's look at the cards here. We got a bunch of lessons. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 care of magical creatures. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 charms. So this deck is very similar to the Draco Malfoy deck that you get in the base set starter, where we operate with charm spells and creatures. Okay, so to start with, we have Out of the Woods. This is a spell. It allows you to look at your opponent's hand and discard all creature cards from it. You need to have 5 lessons in play. At least one of them must be charms. We got 1 copy, 2 copies of this. That's neat. We also get Bluebell Flames. So you need to have 7 lessons in play. Do 4 damage to your opponent or to creature of your choice. That's not too bad. It's like just a little bit better than Vermilius though, and that costs 4. So yeah, good upgrade, but I don't know, maybe. We got 2 of these. Then we got Blue Wig for 6. Do 4 damage to your opponent and then draw a card. Now this is good because it allows you to not have to spend extra action on drawing cards. I like this immediately. And we get 2 copies of Blue Wig. We got Freeze here. Choose one of your opponent's creatures in play and do 4 damage to it for 3. That's pretty healthy. Maybe not super flexible, but 4 damage against the creature is still pretty good. And we get 4 copies of that. Then we have a Care of Magical Creature spell. Fluffy Falls Asleep. Choose a creature in play and return it to its owner's hand. That's pretty good, especially if your opponent had to discard a lesson card to put a particular creature in play. Then you get your money's worth. And we do get 2 copies of Fluffy Falls Asleep. We also get Swarm. Count the number of creatures in play. Do that much damage to your opponent. So get down as many creatures as you can, and then hopefully deal quite a lot of healthy damage to your opponent. And we get 2 copies of Swarm. Moving on to the creatures, we get Scottish Stag. These seem to be a bit off cut. If you guys have a look at this, there's a thicker end there than here at the top. These might have been of a slightly off cut batch. Scottish Stag does cost 4. It only deals 1 damage per turn, but it does have 5 health, so it's got a fairly good staying power. It might be just difficult to come up with damage dealing charms that will get you to 5. But then Transfigurations have a bunch of stuff that just straight up remove creatures, so you could also do that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of Scottish Stag, and we get Quintaped. I think Quintaped, and that also costs 5, 2 damage per turn, and a health of 5. And we get 2 of these guys, and of course we do get our main character, Hermione Granger, just like in the base set starter, but now Hermione has the charms and the care of magical creatures. If you already have 2 or more lessons in play, then whenever you use an action to play a lesson card, you may play 2 lesson cards instead of 1. does exactly the same as the Hermione in the base set starter. So might as well just use the nice foil one and whack that river troll into the deck as well for good measure. So bit of a change in what it does. This time Hermione gets all the nice damage dealing charms, but you still get some good damage output creatures, particularly the Quintave and the River Troll. The Swarm allows you to deal some fairly good damage. It depends how you draw into things. Particularly like Blue Wig, that's good. But there aren't many low-cost cards, which really plays into what Hermione is trying to do. The base set starter with the transfigurations, there was a bunch of low-cost transfigurations, specifically to deal with the lessons that the other deck plays. But I think this seems to be a more well-rounded deck. You get a bunch of ways to remove creatures, you get ways to deal direct damage, you even get Bluebeak to draw extra cards with, and you can even get some information as to what's in your opponent's hand. So overall, I think this is a better starter than what you get in the base set, and I do like that. You get the foil creature with these decks as well. Maybe instead of the Scottish Stag, it would be nice to have the Forest Trolls, because those cards always play really well for Hermione, allowing Hermione to just keep on getting extra lessons out. It doesn't matter that you lose a couple with the if you play a couple of Forest Trolls. Yes, you have to discard a few of those. You don't have to do that in this deck. So once you play your lessons with Hermione, eventually you can just move on and say, okay, I'm just going to play stuff onto the field. So we got 2, 4, 6 damage dealing spells. We also have 6 spells that are specifically designed against creature cards, 2 spells that give us a little bit of an understanding as to what's in our opponent's hand, and we got 7 creatures as well. So that's it. That's the Hermione part. Let me just scoop these cards back up, and then we can go and look at the Norbert deck, which, if I'm not mistaken, will again also be a deck around Draco Malfoy. So put that there onto the side. Yeah, I think this is also going to be stuck to the foil. So anyway, let's get into this packet. There's actually the remnants of a tap here. I'm just a little bit afraid to try and probe it too much, so I'd rather just do this slowly as I can. Okay, we got a tiny bit of an incision, which might just be enough to then keep on pulling it. Not really, no. I lost it. But the trust has never let us down before, so sooner or later we will get in there. Okay, we'll do it here. There's a nice little edge there, and okay. Now we go under, and that's it, we're in. We are in, and we're opening it. And again, yeah, same stuff. So it's stuck somewhat, and still need to carry on cutting it, because the foil is over 2 decades old on this stuff, and it's just bound to the cards. It is. Okay, well, you know what the thing is with these unboxing videos is that you can only really do it once, unless you got a whole bunch of these starters lying around somewhere. And even if that was the case, you're probably better off selling most of them so somebody else can enjoy these starters as well. Okay, we've peeled it off, and yes, it is a Draco Malfoy deck, as I suspected. I deliberately didn't look into these decks before I opened them, because I wanted the element of surprise, and it's like a first take as to what I think of these cards when I open them. So we got Norbert here. Cheaper than the Forest Troll. It only costs 4. However, you have to discard 2 of your Care of Magical Creatures lessons to bring it into play. This would be actually better with Hermione, I think, because she can really afford to discard 2 lessons and then still recover from that very easily. The card looks fantastic though, I love it. Look at that lovely shine on it. And deals 5 damage per turn, has a health of 3. Not super duper hot on the health, but nor is the River Troll, to be fair. So we'll put Norbert here onto the side. Hopefully you guys can see. No, you cannot. Maybe down there. Somewhere there. There you go. Well, at least you can see it shining. And we got Care of Magical Creatures again. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Care of Magical Creatures lessons. And we got Transfigurations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You could almost combine the 2 starters, one from base set and then this one, and then have a decent little deck, 2 decent little decks to play against each other, and that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. So we have 2 copies of Take Root. Take Root basically says your opponent chooses one of his or her creatures and discards it. This is particularly good if they only have 1 in play, and just like the base set, you also get Incarcifores here, 2 copies. Choose one of your opponent's creatures in play and discard it. You play an Incarcifores, you choose which one to get rid of, then a Take Root follow up. Very nice. Then we have Homework. Put up to 2 lesson cards from your hand into play. This is actually good now. It makes sense to play Norbert because Homework will allow you to get 2 spells out. Obviously, that's what Hermione does from the get-go. And then this is what I was talking about. The base set Hermione deck is heavy on these. So Avifors costs 2. Choose one of your opponent's Care of Magical Creatures lessons in play and discard it. So we get 2 of these, and I bet you that, yes, exactly, just like the base set one, we get 2 copies of Epoximize. Says choose one of your opponent's Charms lesson in play and discard it. So we get the same stuff here. And then we move on to our creatures. So we have a 5 cost, 3 damage per turn, 1 health Cunning Fox. I like that little guy. This is from the Quidditch Cup expansion. So we got 1, 2 Cunning Foxes, and we also get Surly Hound, 3 cost, 1 damage, 3 health. At least this has a bit of a staying power, but again, not too much. And we got 4 of these. And then we get the Boa Constrictors. The Draco deck has exactly these Boa Constrictors in the other starter. And the Draco card itself, during your turn, you may use an action and discard a card from your hand to look at your opponent's hand. You may then choose 1 card in his or her hand and discard it. So the 2 characters are exactly the same, but you get different art. So, you know, if you like one of the 2 particular arts, then you can play that. It's actually quite nice that you can pick up this starter and just combine it with the base set starter, and then you actually get something that is I mean, it's fun to play with that as well, but this allows you to have maybe a slightly more rounded attack, because you get the Avifors here, you get the Avifors in that one as well. You also get the Take Root, the Incarcifores as well. I do like the Homework, and seeing the Homework does help the deck, particularly when Norbert makes you discard 2 of your Care of Magical Creatures lessons from play. And this, obviously, working of Transfiguration can be a good way to come back. If you do lose those, you can still operate on this pattern here. I'm not a big fan of these, the Avifors and the Epoximize as a 2 of. I think it's not enough for it to be a considerate strategy. But the Boa Constrictors are really good. I think they're, like, you know, relatively good for the money you put into them. And so again, 2 very simple decks to pick up. You can have some good fun with these, and particularly if you combine them with the the base set starter. So we got 18 lessons. So that's 18. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 creatures in this deck, and we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 spells. So that's 10, 20, 38, 39. With Draco, we got 40 cards. That sounds a bit off to me. I think the deck need. I'll have a look at the rules, specifically how many cards should be in the deck. But if for nothing else, the River Troll and Norbert, they look fantastic. Love these two cards, the shininess on them. They'll go into a sleeve, probably stick to that sleeve as well, but hey ho, it is what it is. So thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this starter deck opening for the Diagon LA 2-player starter set for Harry Potter TCG, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.